Allô, Nissan? Hey, grosse tempête, hein?
Hey, Karine, oui, je sais, les vilains bonhommes de neige sont de retour.
Mais avec le Nissan Rogue à traction intégrale, c'est pas stressant.
Exact, il est conçu et testé pour nos hivers. Oh, Karine, il y a un bonhomme dans le Rogue.
Ah, c'est correct. J'ai allumé les sièges chauffants.
Ah, bien joué, Karine. Maîtrisez toutes les conditions. Louez le Rogue S 2026 à partir de 0,4% jusqu'à 36 mois, incluant une réduction fidélité de 0,5% pour les clients Nissan admissibles. Jusqu'au 2 mars, sur approbation de crédit, les conditions s'appliquent. Détails chez Nissan.
So let me know, by the way, at 514-790-0800, if you already own an electric vehicle, would you buy an electric vehicle again? That's one of the things we're going to discuss this morning with Petrina Gentile, automotive journalist. She writes such fantastic words over at the Globe and Mail, and she's on the line. Hi, Petrina.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Listen, I'll tell you this. You know, I listen to CJAD all day long, right? When I'm not hosting, I'm listening throughout other parts of the day. And I don't know if you could hear the ads that are playing right now in Quebec, Petrina, because the Quebec government is ending part of the subsidy. It's going from $7,000 to $4,000. Every car brand is saying, hey, subsidies are ending. Please get in on the action. This is your last month to buy. There are a lot of EV ads playing on the air today. But what do you want? What's the angle you want to take this morning when it comes to EV sales and EV owners buying an EV again?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, and you say that, and you're right. And automakers are doing so well in Quebec. Like the November numbers are crazy for EVs. Everybody's buying them up because of those subsidies ending. But my angle is a little bit different. It's a woman that I spoke to, and she was an early adopter of EVs. Bought herself a used 2017 Nissan Leaf in Vancouver, and then found herself moving apartments, and she had no place to charge now. And now she's thinking about going back to an ICE or a plug-in hybrid and not doing another electric vehicle because simply of where she lives. And even though it's Vancouver, there are a lot of issues with the chargers out there. Again, people staying there way too long and waiting in line for charging. And it turns out, according to a study from McKinsey, a mobility consumer study, 46% of current EV owners in the U.S. they would likely switch back to gas, and those numbers are very similar in Canada. I spoke to their representative, a partner in Toronto, and they said it's in that same ballpark. About 46% of Canadians are thinking about switching back, and it's because of the same reasons why people are uncomfortable jumping on that electric bandwagon, and it's because of the high cost of these vehicles, range anxiety, inadequate charging when you're charging publicly. The infrastructure just isn't there yet, or the inability to charge at home and not being familiar with the technology as well.
So I like the one thing that makes me question, this study from McKinsey is you look at consumers who have vehicles and then you ask them about their vehicles and their brand reliability and if they would buy their brand again. Consumer Reports just did that. It was a couple of weeks ago. They released their list. Number one, Rivian. 86% of Rivian owners said I would buy a Rivian again. Number two was Porsche at 73, and number three was Tesla, also at 73. So that so then I look at the EV brands, and they're doing really well at convincing consumers to buy them again. So I don't know. One of these things doesn't add up to me, Petrina.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And again, those brands like the Rivian too. I mean, that kind of shocked me when I saw that. I was like, oh, I did not expect that. Tesla, because Tesla has like such a cult following. But yeah, Rivian, I was kind of shocked by that. But it's interesting. I think the lifestyle though really plays into the situation as well. Like you're living where you're living accommodations, and if you can charge, if you do have an outlet to charge, especially if it's a dryer outlet, a level 2 outlet at home, it makes it so much easier. But if you find yourself in a situation where you're in an apartment, an older home, and you don't have that charging capability, it can be really frustrating and challenging. And then finding it, I mean, especially in Toronto, I know Quebec and BC is certainly different, but in Ontario, trying to find a charger that works, a charger that isn't occupied, and it's really frustrating. Like at this point in my life, I could not do it.
Well, I mean, but do you have a driveway?
I do. Yeah, I have a driveway.
Because, I mean, that's what it comes down. If you have a driveway, like I'll tell you, I have an EV and I don't even have a level 2 charger. I just plug it into a regular outlet. And that's because, I throughout the course of the day, I don't do enough driving, right? That every day, I don't even have to charge it every day on top of that, right? Just because of the range. But like I could certainly see how infrastructure is a big deal.
For me, I'm driving. I'm often driving to Niagara still, like from Toronto. So I need to charge if I'm driving. It's 150 kilometer one way, and if I want to come back, I have to charge someplace.
And I could see that too, right? Especially, and when you hear people who've got older EVs, like a 2017 Nissan Leaf, that probably a 2017 Nissan Leaf has 150 kilometers of range, 200 kilometers.
Yeah, and of course, 150, and then the cold weather, wiper blades on, all that stuff, that depletes the battery. And this woman, she worked at home. So she works at home. She doesn't do a lot of driving. And in her previous place, she had like a 110 outlet. So she would just charge overnight, and it was enough to get her to do groceries and stuff. And she still doesn't drive a lot, but she said, you know what, this is not working in this current situation I am in, and I try to go to the library and the grocery stores and plug it in, and I usually have to wait an hour before I can get in there because people are charging, and it's 20 to 30 minutes per charge. And she's getting frustrated. She said even Uber drivers are parking in the overnight spaces. A lot of Tesla drivers will park overnight and leave their cars overnight at the chargers. Because it's...
Yeah, sorry, Petrina, finish your thought.
Yeah, because it's cheaper for them to use just, the level 2 chargers than the superchargers, so they will just leave their vehicles parked there. And she's like, I've called the city a number of times to complain about this, and I could see how it could be frustrating.
Let me read you the split decision on our text line here. So James in Laval writes us, good morning, Lass. I would 100% never give up my electric vehicle. I have 250,000 kilometers in the car over 2 years. I'm laughing every time I pass a gas station. Have more than paid off my vehicle with savings on gas. That's from James in Laval. But here's Louise. And she writes this: Hi, Elias. I will definitely go back to a gas car. The poor charging infrastructure, range anxiety are only a few of my reasons. Apartment buildings will never have the abilities. Will never, maybe too strong a word, but she says never have the abilities. But listen to this: in her current apartment, she writes this: the cost of parking my EV is $330 a month. Now, if my apartment building charged $330 to park an EV, I too would not be happy with an EV.
Wow!
But there you go. It is a split decision there on the text line. Okay, Petrina, let me while you're with us, let me get your thoughts on your wonderful column where you advise people on what car to buy. A couple looking to replace their Subaru with a good, reliable vehicle, good on gas, and a hybrid. What path did you lead this reader down?
Yeah, we gave them a couple of different options. You know what, we'll give you some gas options too. So we gave them, the Hyundai Santa Fe as a gas option. But in the end, we settled with the Toyota Crown Signia. And that was a vehicle that they had their eyes on too. It's a hybrid vehicle, all-wheel drive, very quiet when you're driving it, very comfortable. This is their SUV, so it's like a smaller SUV based on their Crown sedan. And, it's about $60,000 or so. Again, these prices of hybrids and electric vehicles aren't the cheapest. They are a little bit more pricey. But that's where we went with that. We thought that would be like a nice mix for them to replace their Subaru. They can still tow if they needed a tow. Sometimes they're towing with a 2,000-pound trailer, and that would certainly do the trick.
And Petrina, to wrap up here, tell us about your next stop. You're always traveling, trying the latest and greatest. What's next for you?
Yeah, tomorrow I'm leaving for Franklin, Tennessee, and that is to drive the 2025 Armada from Nissan. So that's their big SUV with seating for up to 8 people. And it's been redone for 2025. So we'll see how it does on the streets of Franklin.
That's like one of those big, like Escalade size. Am I right on that? That's how big it is?
Yes.
Oh, buddy. Okay, well, enjoy that. Stay safe in Tennessee, Petrina.
Thank you.
And you can read Petrina Gentile's words in the Globe and Mail.